Hi, boys and girls. We're back. Today is Wednesday. Hope you're having a good day so far. I'm going to continue reading Election Blues, starting from where I left off yesterday. I'm starting with chapter 11, A Star is Born. Remember, yesterday when I was reading, we found out that TJ won the election. He's going to be the new class president. And to make Danielle feel a little bit better, because she was pretty bummed that she had lost the election, Alex invites her over to his house after school. So let's see what happens when Danielle goes to his house. Chapter 11, A Star is Born. I knew that Mom would be waiting for me when I got home that afternoon. She had told me earlier that she was recording a special episode of Hair Today, Family Edition. Remember, his mom started a live podcast. This podcast was going to focus mainly on our family. Mom had asked me to make an exception to the privacy rule to join in the podcast for the afternoon. She had talked to me about it the night before. She said, "The podcast is getting really great reviews, and everyone seems interested in finding out more about our family, and you are an important part of this family. I just don't think that we can do this episode without you. What do you say? Will you please join us on the air?" I groaned. I absolutely dreaded the idea of being on Mom's podcast. I knew there would probably be no one my age listening, but I preferred to stay anonymous. Remember what anonymous means, unknown, just in case. I don't know, Mom. Please, Alex, just for this one show." I looked at Mom's face and saw how excited she was. I shrugged. "Yeah, I guess." And that's how I got suckered into being on the air that afternoon. But I was hoping that if Danielle joined us for the podcast, I wouldn't have to do much talking. When I walked in the kitchen, Mom had her computer and microphone all set up at the table. I dropped my backpack on a chair and smiled. "Hi, Mom." "Hi, Alex. How was school today?" "Not bad." I poured myself a glass of iced tea and casually said, "Hey, Mom, I was thinking about your show today, and I have a great idea." Mom's face lit up. She seemed excited that I was finally taking some interest in her show. And I felt kind of bad that I was trying to deceive her, but I had to give my plan a try. "I was thinking that maybe we could have a special guest on your show today." Mom looked confused. "Who?" Just then the doorbell rang and Danielle came in. Mom smiled. "Oh, hi Danielle. How are you, honey?" Danielle glanced around the kitchen at all of the recording equipment. I'm good. What are you guys up to over here?" "Well, I have started a podcast called Hair Today. And it turns out the audience is interested in hearing about our family. So for today's episode, we're going to talk about our family and how we get along." Mom's eyes grew wide and she squeezed Danielle's arm. "And you're part of our family too. Why don't you stay and join us?" Danielle smiled. "Yeah, that would be great. Are you sure it's all right?" Mom nodded. "You're just on time. We are going live in 5 minutes. So did Alex's plan work? You think he's going to get Danielle to do the podcast instead of himself? Let's see. I smiled. My plan was working perfectly. With Danielle joining the podcast, I figured she'd do most of the talking, and I could just sit there and listen, maybe nod my head once in a while. I wouldn't have to say a thing. First, Mom introduced Dad. "Hi there, folks. I'm Roger Baker, and I'm proud to be a part of this terrific family. We've got 2 great kids and 1 crazy dog. Sometimes things get a little hectic around here, but I wouldn't have it any other way." Mom smiled at Dad and then turned to Dylan. She said, "Now I'd like to introduce my youngest son, Dylan. He's 3 years old and he's a terrific helper in my beauty shop. Dylan breathed heavily into the microphone. I'm a good helper. I make pictures for mommy's customers. They love my pictures of Wadey the best. Dylan smiled proudly. How did I do, Mommy? Dylan asked, still talking into the microphone. Oh, you did just great, buddy. Thanks. Copper barked, wanting to go outside, and that is our four-legged friend Copper, who keeps things interesting around here. Next, Mom turned her gaze toward me and Danielle. And now I'd like to introduce my son Alex and my niece Danielle. They are both in 6th grade at Kennedy Middle School, and Danielle lives right across the street from us. Mom held the microphone out between the two of us. Hi, I mumbled, my palms sweating. Danielle leaned over the microphone and smiled. Hi, I'm Danielle, and I'm so glad to be here to talk to all of you today. Thanks for letting me join your wonderful new podcast. Mom smiled. We're glad to have you here and as part of our family. She paused for a moment, glancing back and forth between Danielle and me. You two get to spend a lot of time together at home and school. Alex, what's the most challenging part about that? My eyes grew wide as she held the microphone in front of my face. Well, I'm not sure. There was a long pause. Finally, after about half a minute of dead air, Danielle grabbed the microphone out from under me. Can I have a chance to comment on that one, she asked. Yes, sure, Danielle. We'd love to hear your opinion. What do you think? Well, I think the most challenging part is that Alex is just always there. I mean, whether I'm at home or at school, he's always there. Wait a minute. This was not part of the plan. She was making me sound like the bad guy. She continued, when I'm home, he's always showing up at my door to use my computer or find out what our homework assignment is. And when I'm at school, he's there too. It's like I just can't get a break from him. Mom smiled and nodded. Yes, I'm sure that can be challenging. We all know that Alex is not the most organized person, and we're glad that you are around to help out. Then she held the microphone out to me. Do you have a comment, Alex? I shot Danielle a look. Geez, thanks, Danielle. But before I could say anything else, Danielle grabbed the microphone back from me. It's true, Alex. Sometimes it can be hard trying to keep you on track. My cheeks burned. I couldn't believe she was slamming me like that on Mom's podcast. She was totally bashing me on the air. Why, my mom smiled and agreed. My plan was completely backfiring. I should have known better than getting Danielle involved. I grabbed the microphone, getting ready to fire back. But before I could respond, Danielle blurted, but that's also the best part about it, too. I mean, he's always there, and I know that I can count on him when I'm down. Like today, we had our class selection, and I was running for president. Danielle glanced down, and well, I didn't win. While everyone was congratulating the winner, Alex was trying to make me feel better, and that was pretty cool. So I guess it's not all that bad spending so much time together. Mom held the microphone towards me. Any comment, Alex? I caught Danielle's eye and grinned. I agree with Danielle. It's not so bad, and she's the closest thing I have to a sister. So I guess we're there for each other, whether it's to drive each other crazy or to help one another out. Mom nodded proudly, her eyes twinkling. She mouthed the words, "Thank you," to me. Then she talked a little more about hairstyles and hot rollers while Dylan banged on the table and Copper barked to go outside. A few minutes later, she glanced at her watch and said, "Well, it looks like that's all the time we have for today's episode." She smiled at us. Special thanks to my wonderful family for joining us today, and tune in next time to hear about fringed bangs and how they help to frame your face. I breathed a sigh of relief when Mom clicked the off button on the microphone. I had survived the taping, the podcast, and Mom was so happy that we took part in the show that she took us all out for ice cream at Twist and Shout Ice Cream Parlor. Dylan ordered a double scoop of cotton candy ice cream, and I ordered a brownie sundae with whipped cream, chocolate sprinkles, and a cherry on top. My favorite. That's actually my favorite too. I love brownie sundaes. Danielle shook her head in disgust. That's so unhealthy, Alex. That has about 60 grams of fat and 800 calories. You really should make better choices. I laughed and thought about what Danielle had just said during the podcast today. She was right. The hardest part of our relationship was that she was always there, watching out for me in her own bossy way. Danielle ordered a vanilla frozen yogurt. See, Alex, this is a healthier alternative. Yes, Danielle, I get it. You even know everything about ice cream. She shook her head and scowled at me. She was about to launch into a full Danielle tirade, complete with dirty looks and unwanted advice, when suddenly Dylan started crying. My ice cream, he sobbed. I lost my ice cream. What happened? Mom asked. It fell on the floor, he said, pointing to the gooey gob of pink and blue ice cream smushed by his shoe. When he had licked his cone, the ice cream rolled right off and splattered on the floor. It's okay, Mom said, handing Dylan a spoon. Why don't you just have some of Alex's sundae? He has plenty to share. I glared at my mom. Really? This is my reward for being part of your podcast today? Mom sighed. Don't make this a big deal, okay? So Dylan slobbered all over my ice cream sundae, double dipping his way through all the sprinkles. I gave him the evil eye, but he didn't even notice as he shoveled his way through my ice cream. And Mom was oblivious to the situation. She was too busy talking about the podcast with Danielle, and she even offered her a job. Well, sort of. Mom said, I'd love to hear about the latest hair trends from the younger generation. And you're a natural on the microphone, Danielle. Would you consider joining my podcast as my junior consultant? Danielle's eyes lit up. Are you kidding me? That would be awesome. I'm going to start researching new hairstyles tonight and do some investigative work at school. I'll have a report ready for your next show. This is so exciting. Thanks for letting me join in. I was glad that Danielle found something to help keep her mind off of the election. I watched Dylan scoop the last sprinkles from my sundae and frowned. Now, if there was only a way to keep Dylan's mind off of my ice cream. I'm going to stop there. I will continue reading tomorrow. I should be able to finish the book tomorrow. So I hope you're enjoying it so far. I hope you have a wonderful day today. Again, don't forget to answer the comprehension questions after you finish listening to this. And I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Bye.